Yes, sir. I pulled the trigger on a pair of WP 6500 Pro inserts for the Xplor fork, and a bladder kit with a K-Tech bladder kit with a revalve to match the front end. So we're going to test that out today. First day of testing. Here are the stock settings on the compression: 16 out, rebound 18 out. On the shock, high compression or high speed, 1.5 turns out. Low compression, 18 out, rebound 14 out.
Alright, so first of all, I must apologize for the camera angle, but having that said, at least we can see how the terrain actually is. Now let's get into these WP Pro 6500 cartridge inserts on these forks and K-Tech bladder kit with revalve to match the front end. So we installed this setup on our 2018 KTM 250 XTW. We will be racing this bike in the FMSQ Cross Country Enduro series. It's a GNCC style hare scramble type race here in Quebec. So my initial thoughts on this setup is, wow, these forks are smooth. Not only do they eat up all the small chatter, but they soak up the big bumps as well. It's kind of like cheating. The front end feels extremely planted and nimble, and the rear is super compliant with great traction. I did not play with the clickers at all on this ride, so everything you see is with the recommended baseline settings from the manufacturer's manual. I'm currently following a 2022 Sherco 250 Factory Edition with KYB forks and shock, and I must say, what a beautiful bike. The way these forks are set up, it seems that the more you push them, the better they perform, which means you can definitely go faster, longer in this type of terrain without getting tired. Cornering is very predictable due to the planted feel. Rocks and roots are not an issue at higher speeds, third gear style. Virtually no deflection. The front end goes where you want it to. It's just awesome. It's amazing how a good suspension setup changes the characteristics of the chassis. It makes the bike feel like a whole new machine. On the original stock WP open cartridge setup, I would feel all of the small bumps, rocks, and roots. It would deflect from side to side, especially when pushing the bike in third gear. And now, with these Pro 6500 cartridge inserts, this bike is a point-and-shoot woods weapon. I'm currently running a Bridgestone M59 front tire with 11 psi and a IRC VE33S in the rear. I am very impressed with these WP Pro 6500 cartridge inserts. They do not disappoint. I would highly recommend this setup to anyone who feels like they have reached the limits of their suspension's capabilities, to the rider who wants to push their bike and go faster in rough terrain, and to the Enduro enthusiasts that race or want to race hare scramble woods type racing events. I don't know if the camera can make this justice, but this terrain is actually quite rough, and I was going through this section with ease. With the stock suspension, fatigue would usually set in, but with this setup, it would seem like I could do this for days. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions about this setup, leave a comment in the comment section and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Yes, sir.